Okay, this has been a fucking shit show. What a great way to start. Thank you to anyone who's still here after all that garbage. Today's lesson, if you got a good thing going, don't try and innovate, because innovation's going to kick you in the face. So I'm sorry about all the back and forth, but I got a shiny, shiny new camera. Look at this shiny new camera. Jacob, now it's finally working, but I've given up on doing it the fancy way. So I got this shiny new camera that I was going to use to like stream, and it's got manual focus and all this junk, but it's garbage because tried to stream in Chrome, because you know YouTube, Chrome, you think they'd be friends. They're not friends, especially if you're on a Mac. Forget it. Maybe you've got a Chromebook, but I'm on a Mac, and Chrome and YouTube are not friends on Macs. So now I'm back to my old setup on my phone, which apparently works just fine. Like, y'all are like, oh, the audio is so good. What kind of crazy mic are you using? I'm like, literally a Pixel 3a. So fortunately, this piece of Google technology works, because Chrome, not so much. Stupid fucking Chrome. 922, I think. Hey, good to see you, Hutch. Hi, Jacob. Yeah, I tried to do the fancy camera, and it just gives me the spinning wheel of death forever and tells me it's going live. So I tried to do it in Chrome, and then I looked on the internet, and someone's like, yeah, you can't stream on YouTube in Chrome on a Mac. You got to do it in a different browser. So I got Firefox, because I'm like, yeah, that'll work. And I got a little bit further with oh god, we're going on here. I got a little bit further with Firefox, but only far enough to pretend that I was going to make something happen, and then get frustrated with that when it gave me a spinning wheel of death. And I was like, don't worry, we're going live. And when I looked on the internet from other people to be like, how did other people solve this problem? They're like, oh, just create another stream. So I just kept creating streams. So anyone who was early or on time, sorry about that. Enough bullshit. Let's get... Oh, can I look at comments here? Oh, I can look at comments. Yeah, Jacob, I was trying to avoid using an external streaming program, but I think... Hey, Sandeep, welcome, man. I was so happy to see your comment earlier. Top chat. Some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. Live chat. Let's go to live chat so I can see all the dick pics. Yeah, I think I need to get an external program. I'm going to talk to Eric and Adam about that from Between the Bolter and Me, because they know all about external streaming programs. So they can probably help me out. Alright, let's get back to this dude. So I thought about fixing this arm today, but you guys already saw me fix an arm, so... OBS, it's really easy. It's free. Okay, I'll try OBS for my streaming purposes. Last time on this, whatever this is, we got to sculpting this dude, which turned out pretty well. And I was going to fix this arm this time, but I think that's boring. I think I should do something different. Maybe some leg action. Show a little bit of leg. Yeah, it was going to be glorious. The camera was pretty hot, but whatever. Apparently I need to figure out this OBS thing. And we'll go from there. Yeah, let's do some legs. Even though they piss me off. So, do I have that board? This setup is not ideal, but hopefully we can make it work. Let's try that. Yeah. I don't have the sketches. So I did some sketches for what I want to do with these legs. Basically, I want them to be big and beefy. So I made them some big, beefy feet. So that's the left one. So instead of, I was like stressing about having to put the foot on here. I'm like, why would I put the foot on there? Why don't I just do the foot separately and smack it on? No, I don't think I want to start with that one, because that one doesn't have a pin. So this looks really huge for a foot, but I'm going to make the leg really huge to accommodate it. And I don't think it's going to be that high, because that leg looks really short. I think it's going to be more like down here. So maybe add some foot to this and add some leg. But let's do it on this side. So same deal. Got a magical dancing shoe here. What I need is, I had this board thing where like I was gonna put like a hole in it and I was gonna stand this guy in it and I was gonna see exactly where the foot went. I don't know. I think when I was cleaning the garage I lost that. I don't know where the heck it went. Crap. So is that better? There we go. Got a little more light. Oh, now it's yellow. So gotta figure out. Yeah, I want like a 4 hoof and a rear hoof and then side hoofs. So I can't remember what I called these. I call these like big monster masher feet. Maybe I should just go for it and hope for the best. What I kind of want to do is I kind of want like an old school 2nd edition Carnifex look going on here at the front and the back, where they've got a front hoof and a rear hoof, and like these hooves to kind of tessellate on top of each other. But I really want this to look longer. I don't want it to be too long. This is not terribly exciting, is it? Because that looks too short if that's where the ground is. But I'm going to line this up too. Shit. I'm not... Oh, fuck. I don't want to give him pigeon toes. I don't want him to look like he's like turning in his toes or anything, but you know what? This is pissing me off. Whoops. I think the shape of this leg is bust. I want to get rid of this. Oh wow, that is some tough Milliput and green stuff. So OBS, you say? I should get OBS. Okay. Is that what you guys, Eric, if you're here, is that what you guys are using? Do you use OBS to stream the Between the Bolter and Me stuff? Although you guys have got a really fancy rig, so maybe you're doing something entirely different. Okay, let's see that. This is left, okay. No, wait. That's right. Yeah, so the idea here is I just wanted it to have really big feet, and I didn't want to like smack it on the actual leg, so I created these feet separately to mount on the base, and then I can plug the leg into them. Angle's kind of out of whack. I gotta find that base that I made and get it back on there. This is Milliput and green stuff, and you can see it's really friggin' tough. A lot tougher than I expected, which can be a blessing and a curse. Blessing if you're completely happy with it, curse if you need to cut it away. But underneath this armature, I think, is just wire, or underneath this surface is just a wire armature, so I really needed it to be tough. Okay, that's right. Oh, what the hell. So I want these legs to be big and chonky, basically. Okay. Where the frack are my sculpting tools? That looks promising. Look at all this paint here. Who wants paint? What a waste. This is what I can do with this. I know I'm not. So we want some of this. Gonna get rid of this. We probably want some of these big boys. Crappy silicone shapers, but they're big. We want some of this, probably. Nice silicone shaper, it's flat. We want some of this. this. Medium to large size silicone shaper. Always need a little bit of this. Spoon tool. And that'll do me for now. Okay. Oh, what the? Okay, this chat is weird. Okay, I saw those you posted on Twitter. It makes me want to start a Gene Stealer Cult kill team. Hutch, you're referring to this dude? When you say the Gene Stealer Cult guys I posted on Twitter? And the robots? Because the robots, they're a bit big for kill team. This is supposed to be my second Gene Stealer Cult army whenever I get around to it. That is, it's still Gene Stealer Cult, but it's using Tyranid units. So, like, this is what he's supposed to be a Carnifex, but I don't think he's big enough to be a Carnifex. Maybe we'll just put him on a giant base. That's what a Carnifex is supposed to look like, because I don't want to use Tyranids with Gene Stealer Cult, because I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I'd rather my idea is that my Gene Stealer Cult is resisting a Tyranid invasion. I guess I should talk about something when I'm doing boring shit like mixing up putty. So, let's go to historical Gene Stealer Cult fluff theater. The Gene Stealer Cult of the Omega Strain, which is Mr. Pink's Gene Stealer Cult that he already created, is unique in that it is aware of the position of the Gene Stealer Cult vis-a-vis the Hive Fleets. You see, there was a prominent Magus in the Gene Stealer Cult by the name of... I didn't give him a name because he got shot in the head by, I don't know, usually when a character gets shot in the head, it's a Vindicator Assassin, isn't it? So he got shot in the head, but before he died, the shot to his brain was close enough to be fatal, but not so close as to kill him immediately. And what it actually did was it damaged the part of his brain that... so it's a Gene Stealer Magus. He's got all kinds of weird physiology. And part of the physiology in my random fluff is that part of his brain is made to, like, block the realization of what the Tyranids are. So Gene Stealer Cult are supposed to, like, blindly follow the Tyranids. But for some reason, the particular way this Magus got shot in the head is that it disabled the inhibitors that the Gene Stealer virus puts in, and it allowed him full use of his psychic abilities. That was not an Arch impression. I was actually wondering if someone was going to accuse me of doing an Arch impression. One day I will do an Arch impression for you, and oh my, you will see. You got to get more of the... more of the... Anyway. No, that's my weird historical movie theater voice. So yeah, the Gene Stealer Magus got shot in the head, and the bullet hit the part of his brain that inhibited him from truly understanding what the Tyranid Menace was all about. So before he died, he got to glimpse behind the shadow in the warp, and he saw the reality. Like, he basically went back up the line of the signal that the Tyranid fleet send out to the Gene Stealer Cult, and he got a look at what was coming for them, and he was like, oh shit, I don't want to be food for this thing. So he informed the rest of the cult that the Tyranids are a lie, and that the only way they can survive is to hide from the Tyranids. So my cult is all about hiding from Tyranids, and they do that by, like, kind of... They go on these raids on worlds that are infested by Tyranids, or in really crazy cases, they go on raids on hive ships, because they're tough as nails like that. And they capture Tyranid organisms, and they experiment on them. They use them to, like... the Twisted Helix people use them to, like, experiment on the cult's... looks out of focus. Experiment on the cult's genome and all that stuff. And where I'm going with this is that I'd like to do an allied Tyranid force for my cult, but I can't use Tyranids because as soon as Tyranids show up, the cultists are going to get eaten. So instead, I want to do the allied force composed of mutants to represent things like Gaunts and Hormagaunts. So whereas in a Tyranid force you have Termagants, the Gene Stealer Cult force, Tyranid, whatever, is going to have these things called terminal strains, which is the idea that the Gene Stealer Cult mutation is not stable. It was made to, like, create Gene Stealers and last long enough as long as it needed to prepare a planet for a Tyranid invasion. But my cult has been hiding from Tyranids for hundreds of years. So it's kind of weird because the Gene Stealer Cult mutation is not supposed to last that long. So they basically have to continuously experiment and modify their own genetics just to keep themselves stable. But while they're doing all that experimentation and modification, they wind up with these mutants, which are caused by the terminal nature of the Gene Stealer Cult strain, that it's not stable. So, thus enters the terminal strains, which are basically, picture a poxwalker or some kind of like weird mutant zombie, except for Tyranid based. So yeah, while they're doing all this experimentation, they wind up with all these like weirdo mutants, or like they create like first generation hybrids, second generation hybrids, third generation hybrids, fourth generation hybrids, and then it goes back and it starts first generation again. But that's not meant to go on forever. So at a point, these guys become weird and mutated. And what are they going to do with those guys? Well, they could do the Sparta thing and like send them out into the wilderness and just kind of like let them die, because they don't want them to pollute the more pure gene seed that they're trying to develop for their cult. Or what a smart patriarch / magus / primus would do, they'd keep these guys as meat shields. So the guys that are these terminal strains, they're kind of kept as, if you think that an aberrant is a slave laborer for a Gene Stealer cult, these guys are even worse. They're like slave laborers below the aberrants, because they're not as big and strong as the aberrants. They're just kind of weird and mutated. So the cult has recognized that they can be useful, and they keep them around, and they force them to do all this like gross labor in like toxic areas and that kind of stuff, which doesn't do anything to help their mutation situation. And then when the cult needs to go to war, they can press these guys into service. They can just be like, okay, weird mutant dudes, it's time for you to go and fight our enemies for us, because we don't really care what happens to you. Thus explaining the whole like Gaunt thing, where there's so many of them and they're really cheap points and they're not very talented at what they do, but just got like strength of bodies. So I was trying to find a way for a Gene Stealer cult to have that kind of strength of bodies situation, and that's what I came up with. So see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to justify having 4 hooves on this leg. So there's going to be 4 kind of parts that stick out. This part looks a little low. Thanks, Hutch. Yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. I just gotta making armies is hard, and I've got a Kroot army I'm supposed to be finishing right now, so I really shouldn't be starting on a Gene Stealer cult army. But that's what all those cool mechs that I showed the other night on Instagram / Twitter are for. As this cult is hunting Tyranids, they need something big to be able to go toe-to-toe with Tyranid monstrous creatures, and what they do is they take construction mechs and press them into service, fighting. Hey, Bob! Hey, Al! Welcome! Glad you made it after I screwed up the stream 15 times. So yeah, the Gene Stealer cult uses like big construction mechs, a la Aliens, Ripley, to fight big Tyranid monstrous creatures, a la Queen from Aliens. Yeah, and it's just an excuse to get Mecha into a Gene Stealer cult army, because when they were like, yeah, Gene Stealer cult, they're gonna have all this cool mining technology. I'm like mechs? You're talking about mining mechs, right? We're gonna get mining mechs, right? And then Games Workshop was like, yeah, no, mining mechs? No, why would we do that? Yeah. Definitely you should think Alien when you saw them, Hutch, because that is the inspiration that I asked Box and Polysmith to emulate when I commissioned those big mecha. So I'm glad they're giving you Alien vibes. In fact, okay, you guys are talking about this, maybe I'll go grab it. So a little break from the sculpting. How cool is this? Oh, I didn't know Imperial Knights were for mining. When you order something from Polysmith, he really goes all out. Look at that. That's his logo. Oh, there was all kinds of cool foam in this box, but I had to remove it. So, this big dude is the alien power lifter situation. And it's meant to represent a Tervagon. So we got this little situation. And we got this little dude. And I put him on a base to paint him, but he fits right inside there. And he's got a little loud hailer here, and, well, I guess not a loud hailer, but you can see up here there are speakers on top of the canopy, and he's got a little, like, microphone thing with a telephone cord, which I'm loving. But you'll notice that he has no head, which he, up until the other day, he had a head. And then I realized that if this thing is supposed to be inspired by Ellen Ripley's Power Loader, then I have no business putting a male Magus in there. I gotta put a female Magus in there. So I sacrilegiously ripped the head off Polysmith's Magus, which was a stock head, in my defense. And I'm getting the female Magus, so I'm gonna put a female head in there, so that it's a lady driving the big giant Power Loader, because that's what happened in Aliens. So this is supposed to represent a Tervagon. So the idea is the Magus is the psychic power behind it, and the whole like loud, like he's got his little like walkie-talkie, and the loudspeakers up here is because what does a Tervagon do? It produces Termagons, but this guy's not going to be producing any. So the idea is that he's getting on the loud, or she's getting on the loud hailer, and she's going, "Come out, terminal strains, we need you." And then I'm going to mount it on a base, and there's going to be like an entry to a mine here, and the crazy mutant dudes are just going to be pouring out of it. So that's going to be how this Tervagon spawns Gaunts. Basically, it calls them, and they come running out of the mine things. So that's that guy. And I need to not break it. I put it away. Totally cool. Like, look at this. Look at this action. This is all just glue and green stuff. Like, I don't think he used any pins, which makes me really, really nervous. The gun, I wanted it to look like rudimentary and kind of like construction-y, so it's supposed to look kind of like a nail gun or something. Anyway, that's that guy. How did I not break this? And then Box made this one, which is kind of inspired by like Matrix, in that you can see the dude in here with his arm braces, and that's how he's controlling these two arms. And whereas that guy is supposed to represent a Tervagon, this one's supposed to represent a Carnifex. This is like a Carnifex size mech, but it's just supposed to look really industrial. Box used a lot of Ambot bits to put this together. And there's a hair there that I need to get off later. Get out of here. Yeah, and again, kind of trying for an industrial looking welder as like a gun. Yeah. Eric, I wouldn't say I got to work on this yet. I just primed it, but next is time to get to work. Yeah, and even like the legs are just more Ambot bits. Anyway, so that's the first two mechs for the Force. And they're going to be representing the Tyranid monstrous creatures when and if I ever get around to it. But yeah, I want to do like mini mechs for like to represent warriors. I've been told we don't have flying Tyranid warriors anymore. Hold on. How do we get the chat back? Oh, I can get the chat. There we go. Actually, I think Sandeep, if Sandeep's still here, he's apparently a Tyranid expert. But I've heard that we don't have flying warriors anymore, but I really want to do some flying Tyranid warriors. So here I'm just trying to line this up with where this hoof is going to go. I really want to do some flying Tyranid warriors because I want to take the Primaris jump pack guys, I can't remember what they're called, the ones with the big bolters, and I want to turn them into like kind of these hover or flying welding mechs that the Genestealer cult has repurposed for flying purposes, and kind of mount a little Genestealer cult guy inside the Primaris armor as if it's a mech suit. Okay, well that's lining up. This aggressor, I don't know, Eric, aren't the aggressors the land-based ones, the walkie dudes? I thought the flying ones were called something else, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't really care. The Space Marines. Who cares about Space Marines? So this is okay, but this hoof looks small now, but I guess I could sculpt it up. I do want it to have the kind of stepped back hoof of a Carnifex. or second edition Carnifex. Whatever, we don't know about Marines. Who knows about Marines? Where is Manivia? It puts the lotion on its tools, or it gets the hose. So, again, finger sculpting is your friend when you're working this big. It's a lot easier than using tools. Again, I'm using epoxy clay right now, which is like epoxy sculpt, but it hardens harder because I want it to be more solid. Epoxy sculpt goes pretty hard too, but it's a little more brittle than this is. Okay. I wonder if I have the Monster Masher hoof on the Big Board O inspiration over there. So I'm glad y'all let me know that this phone setup works okay for streaming because, as I explained earlier, I got a fancy camera and it's failed me. But I'm going to go get some OBS and I'll try OBS. So if you see me streaming, please don't yell at me. I don't know if Symbio Joe's here, but he's the one who mostly yells at me for not warning him that I'm going to do a stream. I'm warning you now, Symbio, that I'm going to do some streams coming up that you're not going to be warned about because I just want to mess around and make sure that shit works. So I don't have a situation like tonight where I create 18 streams and everyone's like, hey, we're here. Like, you guys were here really early. I guess I kind of looked on another browser. It looked like there was just a black screen and it said the stream was coming, but that's cool that you can, like, comment before the stream starts. Oh, God, is this too big? I kind of like it. Looks a little big here because it's, like, severely overhanging this, but maybe that's okay. In fact, oh, I want it to be higher. Because that looks a little short. Okay, I'm going to bring these down a bit. Extend them. So when I get this streaming all figured out, what I thought about doing was doing some... because I have the How to Sculpt videos, and taking a page out of the books of... Between the Bolter and me, who do live streams that turn into podcasts, I was thinking maybe I should do some live stream sculpting, like, hey, look, we're going to sculpt a cloak or something. And then I can take the live stream video and turn that into like an actual How to Sculpt episode, but then folks can watch we can have it as a live stream first, and then it can turn into an actual episode, because honestly, those How to Sculpt videos take forever, and I'm the kind of person who just wants to, like, up and do something. Jacob, I'm going to miss you. You better be back soon. Mark, Inceptors, thank you. I think that's the word for that weird Primaris flying thing that we were talking about. I think aggressors are the ones on the ground because they're aggressive, because they've got the big, fat... what is it? What's that word for being pregnant? COVID? Not COVID. That's the virus that's screwing over our lives. Gravid. It's called like Gravid armor or something. The aggressor... Gravid. So, fun fact about Gravid armor. Those guys look pregnant for a reason, because Gravid literally means pregnant. So I think there might be a little studio joke in there for you. That the reason they got that big bulgy belly is because they are in Prego armor. Sorry. So the aggressors are in the Gravid armor. And they've got those cool, like, gauntlet things. Gravis. Yeah, Gravis, Gravid. They're close enough. You know what I mean. I think it's a play on Gravid, even though it's called Gravis armor. So this is uncharted territory on this Tyranid leg, because Tyranids don't have legs like this with the 4 hooves, but when they get this big, I really don't like knife walking Tyranids. I don't think it makes sense, like walking on scything talons. I really like the armor is called Gravis, but I agree it is Gravid. Yeah, it looks like pregnant. So I don't love knife walking Tyranids that are walking on a scything talon, and I also don't love having a giant Tyranid that just has a giant hoof, because that doesn't feel like it makes sense. This is a big hulking thing. I want to have like a big hulking base that's holding it up. So hence this idea for, I think I called these the monster stomper legs. Just big honking legs that make sense of this thing being so huge and look like they could A, hold it up, and B, just like mash a Space Marine. Let's be honest, all of my Tyranid creations are for mashing Space Marines. Yeah. So I wanted it like a wider base. Like that's a really big foot, but I want to give it a leg that makes this foot make sense. I'm lining up all the hooves. Are you base in addition to feet or just the feet? So Hutch, the client hasn't asked for me to build a base. I don't usually build bases for models. I don't know why. Like I build bases for my own models, but like commissions, I don't normally do it. I can't really tell you why, but I don't. I could, I guess, but I think that what I'm gonna do is I should probably provide like I'm not gonna put terrain on the base, but I should probably provide like a flat base or something, because these will need to be on a base. Or I guess I could just set it up in such a way that this slots in here well, and then he can position it like this, whichever he wants. More or less. Although the reality is that once I'm happy with these, I may just sculpt the foot right into the leg. I think that's what I'll probably wind up doing. Just to have a little control over like how it goes together. So I'll probably not build a base for it, no. And then he can put it on whatever size base he wants. But we'll see. That might change. He already asked me to, initially, I think I was just going to make like Scything Talons for this guy, but he's asked me to make Crushing Claws for him, which I still have to figure out, because I'm not going to lie, I don't love solutions for Tyranid Crushing Claws. The closest that they've ever come to really making me happy was the 3rd edition Old One Eye crab claws that actually looked like I'm going to say hermit crab. The big, like with the big thick arm and the big claw, not the like weird like parrot claws that we have now. I'm not in love with those, just because they don't look like they're going to squash anything. They don't look like they could realistically crush anything. I'm doing a thing. Here, let's bring this down here, because this is realistically where I'm working. So I got to figure out a cool crushing claw option. I've been talking to some folks about some ideas, mostly around like interlocking armor claws, because they know me well, and I love me some interlocking armor. But usually when I do the kind of like armored front thing that I've done before in the Dactylus, it's usually a creature that is not that mobile. Because if you're like a walking bunker with like you bring your own armor with you, it doesn't really make sense for you to be like chucking around, running around, smashing things. Like I picture the Dominatrix as more of like a running around smashy guy, not so much like sit in one area and just like shoot the shit out of people. I'm pretty happy with that so far. So I don't know that I want to do like a big like clunky claw on the front with like an armor plate on it, because this is going to be smashed like pretty big and chunky, but this arm will not be big and chunky. And it'll be kind of chunky because it has the claws on it, but I still want it to be able to really like move them around. Man, you guys are the best rabbit's foot when it comes to sculpting ever. I was really worried about doing this because I wasn't really sure how I was going to put it together, but this is looking okay. I just think these are sticking out too much. Maybe I need to bring them down closer to the leg, because initially when it was like this shoved right up in here, they need to be wider out, but when it's down here, like down a little bit, I think they need to be more, a little flatter, like less of a slope. But I definitely want them to flare up right there. I guess I should extend it down here between the feet. Yep, that's pretty good. Doesn't really matter if I get fingerprints in it at this stage, because this technically is an underlayer. If it turns out well enough, maybe I won't sculpt another layer over it. What if the claw is on the tail? So Jacob, I am going to do a tail that has kind of like a... that's a good idea. I am going to do a tail that has a... I think it's a mace option, was what we talked about. So there is going to be something cool on the tail, but putting crushing claws on the tail, that's interesting. It's a good idea, certainly. Personally, with my view of Tyranids, I don't love it, because when I think of crushing claws, I think of them as like kind of manipulator, part of like the whole frontal assault of the Tyranid when it's getting into close combat. The tail seems kind of like a backup option. When I think of a tail, I think of it as like, this is the thing I use. Kind of like you got a tank and you got a big giant gun on the tank, right? And then you got like some little guns that you use in case guys get close, like little machine guns or whatever. So you got your whatever whirlwind thing for shooting guys from the distance, but if they get too close to your whirlwind, you got a stormbolter to deal with them. So I picture a Tyranid's tail as being like the stormbolter that when it gets into combat, it's got its primary attacking weapon, which is the crushing claws on the front end, doing real damage to stuff. And then if anyone gets in behind it, it's got the tail as kind of like a backup. Like, oh, you think you're safe back there? Well, let me smack you in the face with this. See how you like that. I'll try and put this up because I'm getting a bit claustrophobic. Yeah, so though the crushing claw being on the tail is a good solution, it doesn't really fit with how I see a Tyranid's tail as being secondary, whereas the primary weapons are on like the front arms. A little higher. Yep. Move that over a bit. I think we'll move this. So haven't done this before, just kind of figuring it out as I go. This weird design for the stompy leg, but I like me some chonky Tyranids. That is where I'm at. And he's going to be one of the chonkier ones. With his big chonky stompy feet. I love it. Okay. What is pissing me off? That's right, that's right. This is not right. I want this to not be as wide, although I might regret this later, but better to make it skinnier and then I can add more later than to have it be too wide. Because too wide means you got to cut it down, and as that can be done as well, it's annoying. Yeah, so maybe we'll do some live streams of how to sculpt topics. I've been meaning to do a how to sculpt Nurgle video forever, because Nurgle is very easy to sculpt because it's all organic, and a number of people have asked about that. So like pustules, tentacles, that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll sculpt a Nurgling. How fun would that be? Yeah, so I've been meaning to do a how to sculpt Nurgle for a while. People keep asking me to do how to sculpt cloaks, and that is crazy easy. So we could definitely do that, and we could do the two different kind of cloaks. We can do like a boring marine cloak, which is like really heavy and thick, like a robe more, and then we can do like a tattered ink 28. Yeah, you mean the cloaks, Jacob? What are you talking about? What would be really awesome? Hit me up. You think the cloaks would be awesome? Yeah, the tattered cloak is really easy to do. You just need like some wire substructure, and you literally take green stuff because it's stretchy, and you stretch it out, and you just kind of like drape it. And then you kind of like poke holes in it and like shift it around on your wire structure, and you're done. So yeah, cloaks are super easy, so I could definitely do that. And I think it would be helpful for people. The Nurgling? You think the Nurgling is cool? Okay. There's so many cloak tutorials. Well, screw you, Jacob. No cloak tutorial for you. Why are people asking me for cloak tutorials if there were so many cloak tutorials? You're probably right, but I'm definitely going to do a tutorial of the tattered cloak. I don't know if there's a lot of tutorials like that, but it's just so easy that I really need to enable people to do that, because it looks good, and it's simple. The marine cloaks bore me, honestly. So if you're telling me that there's a lot of videos... yeah, that's right. Now you think it's cool, Jacob. if you're telling me that there's a lot of tutorials on how to do marine clothes / robes, that's fine. I really don't want to have to do that. But, yeah. The tattered one could be useful. Just the marines are boring, the cloaks are cool. Hutch, now you're trying to score bonus points, man. Nobody likes a brown nose, but I do hate me some marines. They are boring. Okay. Getting there. Now I gotta drive myself crazy by doing this side. Oh god. This is the part where I break all the nicely sculpted carapace plates on his back because I'm lying him on his back. Where am I? Okay, here. Thanks for showing up for the stream, in case I didn't say it. I hope people are less angry that I actually warned people it was happening this time. I don't see Symbio Joe here, so I am furious that he gives me so much crap about not scheduling these things, and I schedule one, and where the heck is he? Nowhere. Oh, there's lots of comments. Thank you, tips for making the clip look better. Thanks, Carlos. I was told you would be sculpting Space Marines tonight. Eric, you're the worst. I've been trying to figure out how to sculpt pants. That's interesting. Sculpting pants. What are you sculpting pants onto, Jacob? If I need pants, I just buy pants. Like, there's so many Marines with pants. But, you like legs? Pant legs? Are you talking about Symbio Joe, 3 a.m.? Well, it's 3 a.m. wherever David is, but isn't he here? Or maybe he went to bed. I told him to go to bed earlier. Who knows what happened? It could be 3 a.m. where Symbio Joe is. I'm sorry that I'm located in Canada land. At least I'm not located on the West Coast. I guess if I was located on the West Coast, you guys could, like, watch it when you get up. So, Jacob, you're trying to... Oh, God. Jacob, you're fostered son. I forgot. Shit. Sorry, buddy. Kroot pants. Kroot don't wear pants. They're savage hunters. Come on. Kroot, you know that, like, don't you hate pants joke from The Simpsons? That came from the Kroot. Tower like, yo, Kroot, you're being so, like, indecent. Walking around with your junk hanging out. You gotta get some pants on for the greater good. And the Kroot were like, some militia for horse heresy. Oh, nice, Mark. That's cool. You're not sculpting. You should definitely sculpt some stuff onto those militia for horse heresy. So yeah, the tower like, yo, Kroot, you gotta wear some pants. And the Kroot were like, pants? Don't you hate pants? Pants are the worst. Sculpting pants, I think the real thing with sculpting pants is just, like, the hardest part of sculpting any fabric is the folds. Oh, this is the part where the bugs start coming in. Yeah, sculpting pants is just sculpting tubes, like legs, but you gotta put some wrinkles in them. So I guess it's the wrinkle part that's challenging you with the pants sculpting. So maybe sculpting fabric, maybe that's... Oh god, that sounds so boring. I really don't want to do a video on sculpting fabric, but if it's what people need, it's what we'll do. Can you tell why I sculpt Tyranids? I think sculpting fabric is boring. Yeah, the folds are kind of a pain. Although, I don't know. When I've sculpted folds, it's mostly been in, like, cloaks, robes, and honestly, I don't look at any kind of, like, reference. I just kind of, like, go with the flow. Like, I put the putty on there, and I just kind of, like, start pushing it around, and I see, like, what kind of natural folds develop, and just kind of, like, emphasize those. The key with sculpting stuff like robes and cloth is that you don't want to overdo it with the folds. That if something's too foldy, it's going to look bad. So you want to put, like, a few large folds in. That's what I would recommend. I'm so drunk. How did I sculpt this? This foot is whack. Especially this bit. Oh, well, I can sculpt over it later. Okay, so it's come down, but it's in more or less the right position. So yeah, you want to do not, you want to do fewer larger folds is what I would recommend when sculpting fabric, rather than many small folds, because that just winds up looking like someone forgot to press their trousers. And even Croots, even in the 41st millennium, they are going to be pressing those trousers, my friend. They're not going to be leaving no pleaty, wrinkly trousers. So, no, it just looks bad when you have too many folds in something. It starts to look more like a weird texture than it does like fabric. Less is more, I guess, is what they'd say. What the hell do I want with that shape? Just as I said with the fabric, just put it on and see where the putty goes. I'm kind of doing that with this guy. Like, he's got kind of a hump thing here, and I don't really know why, but I kind of like it. Do you know what the pants ninja usually wear needed? Okay, are you talking ninja pants? So you're talking like kind of parachute-y pants, Jacob, like hammer pants? Because if you want parachute pants, if you want hammer pants, I can do that for you. In my previous life, kind of like harem pants. What the heck are harem pants? You need to send me some pictures, man. But if you want kind of parachute-y... Yeah, hammer pants. Thank you, Mark. MC hammer pants. If you want MC hammer pants, I got you covered. Kind of like baggy. In my previous life, I thought about once starting an Infinity Army. And as I once lived in Japan, and I'm a, what do you call them, a weeb? What's that word for nerdy anime types? As I'm apparently a weeb, I wanted to do JSA, Japanese whatever army. Although I wanted to do JSA back when it was cool, and they were still, okay, I can give you hammer pants. Did test pair, they look like some dude times Imperial, I don't know. So back when JSA was still part of Yuching, if you do Infinity, if you don't do Infinity, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But basically in Infinity, there's like this East Asian army that's like the, it's like China, when China became like a crazy superpower. And part of their army is the Japanese force, but the Japanese force is like this oppressed force that's kind of been subjugated to the what are they called? They're called the Jade Empire or something like that, Yuching. So they've been subjugated to Yuching. So I was like, screw that. The Japanese are going to be rebels and blah. And I'm going to do this rebellious Japanese army. And it's going to be, there's not going to be any actual like Yuching models in there. There's only going to be Japanese models. And anyway, so the long story short, I needed to convert some dudes that didn't have hammer pants into making them have hammer pants. Super easy to sculpt. So I know how to do that. Well, I knew how to do that, I should say. I haven't done it in a while, so I might have to teach myself again. But we can make some hammer pants. That's more interesting than just sculpting normal pants. I'm excited to do that. That sounds good. So the challenge here is I gotta hold this thing and be like, okay, that side looks good, that side looks good, this side kind of good, but I can't actually glue it in. How high do I want it? I'm starting to... no, it still seems too short. Like, that seems... The bottom leg looks really short like that. I feel like it should be more like that. So I just need to position these things accurately to line up at that height. I'm telling you, I said this last time, but sculpting with you folks here on the stream, I get some good work done. Okay, is there anyone here who's actually like listening and commenting who is here because I posted on Instagram? Someone who didn't know about this, otherwise wasn't following me on YouTube already. Did anyone find out about this because of my posting today on Instagram? Doing some like real-time testing right here. Anybody? Bueller? Post a comment. Did anybody find out about this because I posted about it on Twitter? I feel like nobody on Twitter. People on Twitter just want to make like witty jokes, and I don't know, man. The only time I see models posted on Twitter is when people are like, oh my god, the Warhammer Community team featured my model. It's like, okay, but like, what are you actually working on? Oh no, you're just going to tell some more jokes and post some more memes. Like, I get that Twitter has a place, but... Mark, you're here through YouTube's. Good work. If they became crazy superpower. I don't know. What Weeb? Oh, Weebistan. Okay, gotcha. Mark, glad you're here through YouTube. You're OG, man. I created this YouTube channel and just started like throwing up the sculpting videos, and then I'd forget about them for a while and not make any. And there was constantly people looking at them and constantly people commenting here. So I really appreciate people who came through YouTube. That is amazing. But then people on the other platforms are like, oh, you should make some sculpting videos that tell people how to sculpt. I'm like, dude, I've had them on YouTube for like 6 years. They're like, what? You have a YouTube? So I feel I need to post and let people know that, yes, I have a YouTube. And I have an Instagram, and I have a Twitter. So whatever you want to follow me on, that's cool. Came from YouTube. Good work. Pletek? Is that Pletek? I also have a Facebook, but we don't talk about that because Facebook's a horrible place. TikTok. Eric, I do not have a TikTok. That is not a good format for sculpting videos. Although I did do that one like really fast, like this is your intro to sculpting thing, so that could be a TikTok video. But I'd have to figure out how to do a fleeky dance alongside it. I swear at work. I have been following your blog before I started doing mods. Whoa! Following the blog, that's old school. Twitter is full of pseudo edgelord mini builders. Mark, I don't know what you mean by that, but what a mini builder is, but pseudo, oh, like miniature builders, pseudo edgelord. I don't know. I still don't know what a pseudo edgelord is. Jacob, you get massive points for following the blog. Like, that's possibly more points than following on YouTube, but only just. I've seen some cool sculpting stuff on TikTok. Really? That's interesting. I would not expect to find sculpting stuff on TikTok. Maybe that's our next platform when Facebook fully destroys Instagram, because you know it's coming. They're just going to be like, oh, you love Instagram? Well, that's funny, because it's just like Facebook. Use Facebook. It's like, no, Facebook, fuck off. I don't want to use Facebook. You're garbage. All you have is angry Warhammer dudes posting racist or macho, whatever crap. I hate Warhammer Facebook so much. So yeah, I have a Warhammer Facebook. I don't know if I set up like an automatic posting thing. I don't even know if it still happens. But best place to follow me is, unfortunately, Instagram, because that's where it's easiest for me to post, and that's where it's all models all the time, so that's where I am most of the time. However, I'm trying to do better about posting on Twitter, even though I feel like not a lot of actual modeling happens on Twitter. Maybe it's that a lot of modeling happens on Twitter, but there's just so much bullshit in between that the model pictures just disappear. Whereas on Instagram, it's really easy to like go to someone's profile and be like, hey, that person posted this thing. And if they've posted a couple things since, I can easily find the last thing they posted, and you can tell I'm a big fan of Instagram. But yeah, the joke about TikTok. So in my professional life, outside of modeling, I do some corporate communication stuff. And one of our senior executives came to me and said, you know what we should do? We should get on TikTok. I'm like, that is not a good idea. We do not have TikTok level content. No, seriously, we should get on TikTok. I understand that your young child is on TikTok and now you think it's all the rage and you want to be cool, but we do not need to go on TikTok. We are not cool enough for TikTok. Bought 4 tubs of bees putty earlier this year in an attempt to sculpt. What is bees putty, Mark? Isn't that like wax? Like you carve it? Like, I know that that's what the, like, hardcore sculptors use, but I don't know, man. I would take that money and I would buy some epoxy sculpt. Because you can get a lot of that for cheap. And it's more like the whole, like, mix it and set. I'm not the guy to talk to about any material that you can work with for a long time. Well, I can't imagine a business using TikTok. Well, you could use TikTok. Like, politicians use TikTok to try and be cool. But you got to be really cool to use TikTok. That's all I have to say. But a bees putty, like, what is bees putty? Is it wax? And then like you like can just like keep like cutting it and shaping it and whatever. I'm not about those materials. I'm bad enough about taking forever to finish something. I don't need a material to allow me to take more time. I know something that is really cool. Polymer clay that feels like wax. Oh, it's polymer clay. So polymer clay means you have to bake it. Like, fuck off, Eric. Space Marines are not cool. Mark, does polymer clay mean that you gotta bake it? Like, it feels like wax, but you gotta, like, put it in the oven to finish it? This bees putty stuff? hooves. Oh, right. I want it to be high. That's what I need to check. Bake it. Yeah, I don't love the bake it thing because I just want to like sculpt it and I just want it to be done. I feel like all the baking things, like they shrink or they grow or they're like unpredictable. So anyway, is it working for you? Your bees putty, Mark? You bought it to be like a master sculptor. Are you a master sculptor? Did it do what you wanted to do? Because like that's the thing. Like I don't like this stuff, but I'm not. Who cares what I like? It's what you like. If it's going to get you to sculpt, if you're like, no, man, I don't like using epoxy sculpt because I feel stressed out because I need to do it in like an hour or 2 hours and I want more time. Like I want to perfect my model. That is a good reason to use polymer clays, like Sculpey, like this bees putty stuff. But I hate that myself because the way I work, I want that time. I'm pressure motivated. I want you to be like, you can only work on this for 1 hour and then you're done. No, I can't not use like your oven because it makes it toxic. I don't know, bake it to others. Oh, I don't know if baking these putties in your oven means that you can't use it for food. You'd have to talk to someone who does a lot of baking of putties. There's 4 types of firmness. I'm crap. Well, I don't know. So yeah, what I do is I use epoxy putties because I need that pressure motivation. I need someone else to give me an artificial deadline to be like, you need to finish this in 2 hours. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. Pushing it this way, pushing it that way. So that's the thing that I really like about epoxy. That you can work in layers if you don't want to do it all at once and screw it up. Like definitely work in layers. But otherwise, it's you set it and forget it, my friends. That's what I like about it. You get it to a point where you're pretty happy with it, and then you just kind of like leave it, and you're done. And then if you don't like it, you can cut it away. And if you do like it, if you want to add more, you can add more. And yeah. But my brother is obsessed with like real clay, like ceramic clay. And he also used like Fimo and stuff like that, which I think classify as polymer clays and the kind of ones you bake. Yeah, how far down? I think that's good. I think if I push these further down, I'm going to get pissed off because I want to sculpt these up and... Fuck, I don't know. So yeah, what I'm trying to say, long story short, is you use the putty that works for you. Just because other people are using epoxy putty, that doesn't mean you need to use epoxy putty. If it stresses you out and you're like, screw this, I just want more time, use a polymer clay. Use something that is bakeable so that you can work on it for as long as you want, and then once you're happy with it finally, you can bake it. And then you're done. But it's not somewhere you'll find me going. Because I want the putty to force me to finish. What the hell angle is this at? I think it's pretty good. Okay, now for the big kahuna, the front. My challenge is that I've got these on like kind of a cockamamie angle. Like I think this one is more or less up and down, but this one is like kind of kicking out to the side. And like, is that natural? Because this is not going to be like this. This is going to be like this. Like, I guess this one is planted and this one is kind of lifting. But you wouldn't know it from looking at the foot. Basically, I haven't got a friggin' clue what I'm doing. I'm just farting along and hoping for the best. Welcome to sculpting. Because I got this handy dandy sketch here that looks nothing like what I'm working on. Because I'm doing my own thing. So, figure it out. Yeah, so the angle... Ooh, the more I look at this angle, the more it pisses me off. Maybe if I take some of this away, I'll feel better about it. Because I think that the line is making... Oh, God. I'm a horrible sculptor, don't tell anyone. Really hope that this video doesn't wind up on YouTube and everyone find out that I'm a horrible, horrible sculptor. Put him standing on a dreadnought. That's a good solution, Mark. That actually is a genius solution for building models for sculpting. When in doubt, make some kind of fucked up base that fixes your problems. Oh, what did I do that with? Oh, I don't think I have him here. I don't know where he is. But my Venom Cannon Warrior, I like built him with that big giant Venom Cannon, and it's like, yeah, I got a super heavy Venom Cannon on this dude, and he's so badass. And I tried to put him on a base, and his Venom Cannon was basically pointing into the ground. I'm like, no, this is a problem. So I made a base like this, so that he's pointing straight. Yeah, put him standing on a Dreadnought is an awesome idea. I'm going to try and fix it so I don't have to do that, but I guess worst case scenario, I can put him standing on a Dreadnought. I guess this leg is, it's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like kind of pulling forward. Yeah, it's probably fine. Okay. Front. Oh, did I check the other side? Otherwise, I like the shape of this thing. Like the four kind of, it's like four petals kind of. Each one of these is like a petal. P-E-T-E-L, like a flower. It's like four flower petals, kind of. Not really sure what to do on the front because I want to do like this, the like built up. Maybe I just like sculpt a receptacle because I want to do the second edition built up big stompy hoof in the front. What? I'm making dungeon tiles and I can't work at home and I forgot my ruler. Where are you, Jacob, that you're working on these dungeon tiles? You're like at your workplace? Or you're at like a buddy's house? And why can't you work at home? Do you have like a sleeping child? Oh man. Oh, I don't know. To go kit and forgot my ruler. Oh, where are you working? Are you working at work? Haven't you got anything else that's kind of straight? Like, I don't know. Back in the day, we'd have CD cases and DVD cases, but now we're too digital. Like the side of your phone? Can you use that as a ruler? Or like a book? Or are you like working in the woods? Yeah, I used to... Family thing cookout? You're making dungeon tiles at a family cookout? Just get a pair of tongs or something. They're pretty straight. Steal it from the barbecue. They're not going to miss them. Careful with that family cookout, man. Social distancing. Only whatever people. You need to make a grid. Well, that's a problem. I think I'm modifying this leg too much based on the position he's in, which I probably shouldn't do. But the reality was when I made this, and I stuck it on like this side, I was like, and I fucked up. This is way too big for this guy. No way is this ever going to work. And then, oh shit, my battery is dying. Let's fix that. Jacob, I think you need to give up on making your grid. I don't think you're going to do it at your family cookout. We've got power. Didn't fully charge my phone because I expected to use my shiny new camera to do this, but no. Yeah, I'll stop bitching about my shiny new camera soon, I promise. So yeah, when I made this, I was like, man, this foot is way too big for this leg, but now it's starting to work out. I can see it. I think that this one is actually too big. Like, I think I need to cut that back. I think the front hoof and the back hoof are too big. But we'll see. Focus on this one. I also think that these legs are the wrong length, but I don't know, we'll see. I'll just stick a dreadnought under it, right, Mark? Solves all my problems. My buddy works for Uber delivering food. He just sent me a message saying, my buddy, I just got an order to an address that doesn't fucking exist. It's like, well, too bad. Just eat the food and take their money. It's their fault for giving you the wrong address. I thought Uber controlled that kind of thing. Alright. Let's do you. So yeah, this one, the front hoof is going to be longer and taller, as you can see from the shape. So I just need to make like a kind of receptacle for its long tallness. Just kind of match the shape of the rest of the leg. I'm not worrying too much about this line here. I can fix that later. More I want to get the shape of this stuff down. If I got extra putty, I can do it, but it's not important at this point. I should probably blend some of this down. And this is looking a bit too chonky, maybe? We'll see. So what are other people working on? Jacob's got his grid. Mark's got his heretical Imperial Guard dudes, I think. Oh, you're doing a cookout in your house. That sounds possibly safe. What are other folks working on? Even if you're not working on it right now, what are you thinking to work on? Hopefully some Xenos, because Xenos is where the action is. Hopefully never any Marines, because they're boring. We've got too many of them already. I don't think I need as much putty on the front here. I think... Oh, maybe. Shit. Okay, these are aligned, I think. Front one, not aligned. Sorry you can't work on your grid, Jacob. That's too bad. Shouldn't you be working on Kroot anyway? So yeah, we got this big Kroot project. I think I talked about it last time. Adepticon 2020 canceled because of COVID. Kroot project now moving to Adepticon 2021. Who thinks that Adepticon 2021 is actually going to happen? Because I certainly don't. So really I need to get back to the Kroot project, but I am not motivated because, as I said, pressure motivated. That's why I use this kind of putty. And the Adepticon pressure has left. Thank God, because I would have died. I would have never finished my Kroot in time for Adepticon 2020. But now I need to get back in the saddle and finish the Kroot for Adepticon 2021, 22. Realistically, I want to finish them now because I feel like they're hanging over my head. Maybe that would be a project for a live stream. I can finish that Kroodox that I started working on and sculpt that for you friends to watch, because it would be smaller and more interesting than this. This is probably good for streaming because it's big and you can see it. Small model might not be as interesting. I think I've got too much putty here. I think I gotta clear this thing out. It's not doing it for me. The challenge is aligning all these friggin' I just want to glue it in. Remember, higher. Yes, higher. God damn, this is annoying. Take back what I said earlier about all of y'all being good luck for sculpting. This is getting to be a bit of a mess. Not as bad as it could be. Not as bad as that friggin' cannon I sculpted on the couch the other day. Where's that monstrosity? Oh yeah, this is trash. I gotta fix that, but whatever. Not that bad, but pretty bad. Not bad, just frustrating because I can't find a good way to check that these things are all lining up. Okay. I think the reality is that this one is busted. It needs to move forward. Good work, Jacob. You measure those tiles. Get it on. You found a carpentry tool in your strange cookout in a carpentry shed. Good. Your secret cookout that we're not talking about. Okay, there's 8 people here. What are the rest of you working on? I mean, you don't have to be working on it right now, but like, in the grand scheme of things, what are you working on? Hit me! Eric, I know you're here. What are you working on? Hobby happenings, buddy. Come on. I guess people might have this on and be off, like, actually doing things with their hands and not typing. I guess that could be a thing. In that case, I endorse actually doing things with your hands that do not involve typing. Good man. Attempting to do some chipping on the Arvis lighter. Yes, Arvis lighter, my favorite. I love that thing. Good work. I don't know that I'll ever build mine, but one day maybe. Okay. This one is just a nightmare. What are other people doing? Not sure how it's turning out, but we'll see how it goes. I just appreciate that you're doing an Arvis lighter, because that's a really cute model. I like that there's going to be another Arvis lighter out there in the world. I mean, those little ones for, whatever. Looking good, man. Jay, what are you working on? Doesn't have to be right now. Can be later. Can be some other time. But what are you working on, Jay? Hit me. Is it all sculpted from scratch? Pretty much. See this? This is not sculpted from scratch. This gray part. Frostgrave minis. Awesome. See this? This is not sculpted from scratch. This is the original miniature. This gray part here, not sculpted from scratch, not sculpted, and not sculpted, not sculpted. You get the idea. Not sculpted. Everything else is sculpted. Because I based this on a Tyranid hair duel from Forge World, and what I should have used is a hair dam. Because I wanted a big bastard. And that means that I gotta make a big bastard from scratch. I'm an armature sculpture too. Yeah, well, you know, it would be a little cheaper, Jay, if I was an armature sculpture. My problem is that I'm an armature sculptor who uses models as armatures because I'm terrified of getting proportions wrong. So I use models because I feel like they're a good reference for the proportions of where everything's supposed to go and all that. And it's an expensive armature because this is like a, I don't know, $150, $200 Forge World model that I've just, well, I haven't actually obliterated it. Like, I've obliterated the torso But the reality is that like most of the rest of it is still kicking around in here. There's like a tail in here. There's like some legs. I think the arms are in there. So one day maybe I'll use those bits. Likely not. But I've wasted the torso, that's for sure. Oh, the head. I'm using the head. Where's the head? The head is still kind of the real model, although it might get sculpted over. So this is the original model with a spacer put in and some teeth added. That's original, that's original, that's original, that's original. But the teeth are new. Most of the teeth are new. But yeah, that's most of the original. I use armatures too. This is my favorite part of the Herodol model. This friggin' acid spray thing. Cut in half, because I cut the body in half, but I love this thing. I think I've got a couple of them kicking around. Because I've done this a couple of other times. This is my third Dominatrix that I've ever made. First one, I don't like to talk about, because though I made it for a good friend of mine, it didn't turn out very well. Oh, thanks for the teeth. Yeah, the teeth are not actually sculpted. The teeth are stolen from other models, but they look pretty good. Why won't you just fucking work? More or less is what I'm going to say. More or less. We're more or less there. I still think I should take some off here. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's perfect, actually. Just make it more of like a recess to accept the hooves when they're done. This stuff's starting to solidify up. Seems a little quick, but whatever. Guess that's an indication that I'm almost done. See, were it not for the putty here, were I using a polymer clay that I had to bake, I would just go at this all night, and it would never be finished. Because I would just change it and change it and change it, and you'd get to a point where you could have stopped, and it would have been amazing, but you kept changing it and kept changing it, and you went and ruined it all. Start all over again. I'm pretty happy with the shape of this foot, gotta say. Didn't think I was going to be able to make it fat enough and stompy enough, but I feel like it's getting near fat and stompy enough. Now that part is a little problematic. Do not have an armature under that. So again, this is more or less like a quote-unquote armature layer, in that I'm using the epoxy clay because it's really hard, and it'll be a good strong substructure that I can sculpt onto later if I want to do additional detail. But it also takes detail very well, so it can be the more or less top layer if it turns out well. So I got options, and if it's too thick, it's very, very easy to cut. So I can cut it down. Carve it down to what I'm after. You're an ugly little mother, aren't you? So again, I don't know that this is terribly riveting to watch, but hopefully you're enjoying it. Also, that focus is annoying. Sorry about that. I'll get on this OBO, whatever the heck, streaming software, and hopefully next time the focus will be a little better. My goal is to do a Whip Wednesday video every week, except for next week I'm going away. So I thought about doing Whip Tuesday, but I think we're driving on Tuesday night. So we'll see what we do. But I'll try to get another video in next week. I mean, we got Wi-Fi at the cottage, but I don't know if my friends want to listen to me wax lyrical about sculpting in stream, but I don't know, maybe I'll try it, see what happens. Certainly won't have a setup like this, but certainly won't be using my fancy Dan new camera. I could do it on Sunday, I guess. Sunday might be a good day. More or less. What to do? I think maybe this comes up a little further. More or less. Pretty happy with this. For all my belly aching and complaining. More or less. See how that works? I'm trying to give you some different angles, but there's those 4 kind of ridges that are growing out of the leg, and each one corresponds to a different hoof on the foot. Just trying to give myself more room to accommodate these by flaring out each little opening a little more. Okay. I don't know if Hutch, are you still here? Or did you take off? You mentioned something earlier that I wanted to touch on, but I don't know if you're here anymore. Anyway, if you're here, if you're not here, you mentioned earlier that my weird historical whatever theater voice sounded like maybe I was doing an Arch impression. But in case you haven't seen it, Vice UK, quality publication that it is, recently did an article about Warhammer. And what was the topic of the article, you say? It was about how members of the alt-right have kind of, or I don't know, that kind of like an alt-right present has, I want to make custom Tyranid spider-like things. That's awesome. Sorry, Mark, I just saw your comment. When in doubt, put a Dreadnought on it. I love it. Where am I going to get the Dreadnought, though? They don't sell that cheap one anymore, the cheap Redemptor. I think they canceled it. Where am I going to find a cheap Dreadnought? eBay? So anyway, Vice UK wrote an article about Warhammer, and it's about how kind of like there's this alt-right kind of wave within the Warhammer community, and that there's like these people in the Warhammer community who think that Space Marines are like the best and think that the Imperium is like a great model for society. I think this is probably being exaggerated a bit, but there's certainly some dickbags in the community that I'm sure we all know about. So, Hutch, you mentioned my Arch impression earlier, which is not an Arch impression, but maybe you should go look up that article. If you just go to Vice UK, they published it today on Wednesday the 12th. It's something Warhammer alt-right, I can't remember. If you go on Twitter, people are probably posting it. But yeah, maybe go read it. It's interesting. It mentions No More Damsels, which is an organization that I really support. They wrote an open letter to Games Workshop saying, hey, yeah, Warhammer's for everyone, that's great, but like, what are you going to do about it? So they mentioned that. More than a few scumballs. Yes, there are more than a few scumballs. So this article kind of like talks about the scumball situation. Interviews a couple people. It's a short article. Like there's not a lot of content in there. And like really, if you've been paying attention to like the scumballs and the dick bags and the stuff that's been going on online, you probably know about it. But like if you haven't been aware of that stuff, it's maybe like a good catch up. And for the article, they actually spoke to Arch. Because people made... Oh, there you go, Hutch. Yeah, if you think Arch is a joke, you should probably read this article. Because they were, like, talking about his channel and stuff and how it kind of attracts... Arch is a creepy dude, and his followers are even creepier. I agree, Mark. I think that Arch is probably not the worst of them. But I think it kind of sucks that, you know, he lets people just kind of, like, go off and say whatever they want. And he's like, it's not my position to stop them. Which is what he talks about in this article. You should go look up this article. Because since it was partially about him, they gave him the chance to comment on it. So they have a section of it where they speak to him. And he basically says, like, Just arrived randomly and not disappointed. That's looking bang tidy. Pimp My Toy. That's awesome, man. Looking bang tidy. I feel like Pimp My Toy. I feel like I know Pimp My Toy. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. But I don't know. Yeah, it is bang tidy. I'm feeling pretty bang tidy about it, and I really like that expression. I've never heard it before. Alt-right want exaggeration. It's like guys who say, I'm not a Nazi, I'm just really into German military history. It's a joke, bro. It's plausible deniability. Yeah, the alt-right German joke, Nazi jokes. Actually, go read this article on Vice UK. It touches on all these things. Arch literally says in it, he's like, it's not my... I think he says something like, it's not my responsibility to police people on my Discord or something, and that, like, you know, this is all just jokes, and I'm going to keep posting jokes. But then in another section, he says that, like, when talking about his, like, crusade to, like, rescind Warhammer For Everyone, he talks about how, like, it's their duty to criticize this stuff. And it's like, okay, great. So you'll criticize Warhammer For Everyone, but you won't criticize the pseudo-Nazi dickbags in your Twitch or whatever, Discord, who are, like, posting all this comment. Like, it's not your duty to police them, but it's your duty to police Warhammer For Everyone. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So they just kind of, like, put it out there and just, like, let Arch, you know, take care of himself on that point. But you can see it in the article. So you might be interested. And yeah, if you're kind of, I don't know, if you think that Arch has done nothing wrong, then maybe you should unsubscribe, because I do not agree. And I don't need subscriptions from folks who don't like being open and inclusive of trans people, black people, indigenous people, people of color. I'm open to all that shit. I think we should all be. Like, we're a bunch of nerds who play with Warhammer models in basements. We gotta be more inclusive, because we don't want to be the joke that everyone thinks we are. We want to be classier than that, man. And that's what this is about. Like, I think Warhammer For Everyone is just about being classy. Like, it's just about being open and classy. Making sure that everyone feels good. And no, not making sure the racists feel good. The racists get to feel bad. Well, thanks, Pimp My Toy. I just kind of pulled it out of my butt, so I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you think I said it well. Arch Def a racist. That Noblar video was atrocious. Oh god, yes. The Noblar video was very bad. If you have been wondering about this Arch thing, all you need to do is Google Arch Noblar video. You can probably find it somewhere. He took it down. Yeah, Jacob, it's definitely cool that we've seen a lot more representation in, like, Warhammer-related media lately. And I don't know if you mean, like, Warhammer-related media or media in general. Yeah, people are waking up. They're getting on board. And the thing I hate the most of all is how the racist assholes, they try to pretend that it's the diversity and inclusion that ruins Star Wars. Like, that's the one thing the morons will always trot out. They're like, oh my god, this new Star Wars movie, they made the cast diverse and it ruined the movie. It's like, no, bro. There's so much worse about that movie than just the cast. Come on, bro. So that's one of the ones that pisses me off. Because, like, being married to a woman of color, like, representation is important. I had to learn that shit. And that shit was hard. Like, we had some really hard conversations. And I had to deal with some really hard truths about my assumptions. And the assumptions I made. So anyway. They were bad due to bad script, no character development. I agree. Oh, wow. Everyone's talking about how bad Star Wars was. Yeah, it was definitely the writing that ruined it. I stumbled into Arch's... Whoa! Whoa, Mark, you've actually been in the Discord? Holy cow. I can't believe you made it into Arch's Discord. I'm assuming that's the old one before he deleted it all? To get rid of all his weird racist crap? Oh, I feel like Warhammer Def does not have enough representation. Yeah, it's nice we're finally getting female models for Warhammer. Certainly. Oh my god, it's just turning into me keeping up with the chat. Hit a nerve! Folks say Warhammer For Everyone was just corp boilerplate, but I love how the community has rallied around it and done their own purging of the alt-right. Yeah, Mr. Air Pumpkin, that's a good call. Like, people dismiss Warhammer For Everyone because they're like, it's just corporate boilerplate, but, like, doesn't mean that we can't take it on as a community. the fun thing about this community, that it might be based on Games Workshop models, but at the end of the day, we are the community, not Games Workshop. So they can come out with a statement like Warhammer For Everyone and give like an indication of like how this hobby should be and who should be included in it. But at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to live that and bring it to life. We can't wait on Games Workshop to do it for us. So yeah, see aforementioned point about being classy. So yeah, it can be corporate boilerplate all you want, but the thing you're seeing is that it resonates with the community, and the community is taking it on, whether it's corporate boilerplate or not. So all these people who are like, Games Workshop just posted that because they want your money. It's like, well, whatever. Yeah, they can be motivated by that, but it struck a nerve in the community, and the community is carrying it forward. So too bad if you think it's boilerplate, because it's the boilerplate that spoke to us, and we're going to be classy, and we're going to keep that as a guiding light for our community, and we're going to use it to make sure that people who might not have felt comfortable in the Warhammer community before now feel comfortable, and that people who have maybe felt too comfortable in the Warhammer community and have said some things that make other people feel uncomfortable, let's make them feel a little more uncomfortable, and they can see how it feels. And if they don't like it, they can learn, or they can leave. Or they can go, I'm sure they're perfectly capable of going and founding their own little angry Warhammer communities with their little Discord servers. They don't need us. So that's what the whole you not be missed thing is. It's like, okay, see you later. Yeah, you go have fun in your angry racist Discord. We're good. You have a good time over there. I'll see you later. Oh man, I can't keep track of all these messages. Yep, dude, I will go off about how poorly made these new Star Wars movies were. I feel so bad for the cast. That's a good point. As for Star Wars, my theory of what went wrong is just trying to pack the movies with a lot of expanded universe on-ramps. So you need to buy extra novels, games, and comics to make sense of anything. I didn't think about that, Mr. Air Pumpkin, that they were trying to like do all these on-ramps for expanded universe stuff. I just thought that it was like too much fan service. Like, I think they stopped making an original movie and they started making a movie that was just going to do all the stuff that the fans wanted and like nod to all the old stuff and all that. And like, it's like, who cares? Like, let this be something new. Please God, let it not just all be about the Skywalkers. Like, I know that's the thing. Oh, it's about the Skywalkers. It's what the whole thing's about. Yeah, whatever. That's boring. We've had enough Skywalkers. Let's start something new. But maybe that'll happen after these movies. Maybe this is the end of the Skywalker stuff and we can have something new finally. And it can be interesting. Like, the thing that pisses me off most about Star Wars was when Finn showed up, and everyone's like, oh my god, Mace Windu's son. Definitely, called it. I'm like, please can we not have Finn be Mace Windu's son? Like, please can the only black character not be related to the only other black character? Oh, sorry, Lando. Like, wasn't that other black character supposed to be like Lando's daughter or something? Like, fuck. Let these people be people. Like, Poe's not related to anyone. Why is no one like, oh, Poe, you must be related to Wedge because you fly a plane? Like, fuck that shit. Come up with something new. The best Star Wars stuff is like the ones where it's about nobody's doing something wild. I agree. Good night, Jay. Thanks for being here, man. Guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. What does that even mean, YouTube? Jay, let's talk about Tyranid spiders some other time. Sorry, I didn't get up to that, but you want to make weird Tyranid spider things. I think that's a cool idea. And I don't know if you're on Twitter or Instagram, but you can always send me a message on Twitter or Instagram about spider things, Tyranid spider things. More than happy to talk about them. You're not going to catch me doing many Tyranid spiders because I don't like Tyranids walking on sighting talons. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. But, more than happy to help you do it. God, I'm going to hate myself later when I try and position this, and I'm like, what the hell did you do? But maybe this is okay? Well, the putty's dying anyway, so I think I'm probably going to call it. So yeah, we got the 4 sockets for where the... I'm going to kill that. Where the toes are going to interface. There. This whole thing has probably been out of focus, but sorry about that if it is. And then I think the dancing shoe will fit. Nearly 3 a.m. Good night, all. Stay classy, dudes. Man, I can't believe you guys who like hang around and watch this thing at like 3 a.m. Thank you. The only Star Wars worth seeing is The Mandalorian. Yes, regular miniatures. I agree. So that's what I kind of thought about when Jacob's like the most interesting Star Wars, the like random people doing nothing. I really liked Rogue One. Yeah. No loose ends. Few expanded universe. Yeah. So I really like Rogue One because I felt like it was like randoms doing random stuff, which is the kind of Star Wars that I'm into. Also, I liked. I didn't watch the Clone Wars show, but I hear it's good. I liked the Han Solo movie because like as much as it had Han Solo in it and all that, I feel like there was still some randos in there doing random stuff, which did it for me. Like I was interested that like the bad guy wasn't a Jedi, right? He was just a dude with like some. Granted, he had like pseudo laser sword weapons, and he might have been working with the Empire, but yeah, I liked Rogue One. Solo was pretty good. I really liked Mandalorian because it's randoms doing random stuff. I feel like, what was it? Wasn't there like a TV show back in the day called like Smugglers or something? Like there was one called Droids. This is way back in the day. I'm probably dating myself. But I swear there was one back in the day called like Smugglers or something like that, and it was just like random smugglers doing random shit. It was an animated show. Like there was an animated droid show. I think there was an animated Ewok show. But I thought there was a smuggler one too, but maybe I'm wrong. But like yeah, smugglers, like Han Solo, nobody smuggler doing stuff. Like let's watch that. Kind of got a bit of that in Mandalorian because he's like working with smugglers. But I always, when I was the old Ewok movies, yeah, they were cool too. I like those, but I feel like smugglers are the interesting part of the Star Wars universe because they're just like random Joe Schmoes who are like trying to like string shit together and get involved in these like larger plots. I think that's the part of Star Wars I've always been interested in. Okay, I think I'm done for tonight. That's more or less how the... Focus, you damn thing. It's more or less how the leg's going to interface. I think at about that height. But I'll probably have to change the angle based on when I get this on a piece of flooring or on a base. But hopefully it works out. Is a tabletop RPG like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever? Because I have not gotten into those in the way that I should. But I know Eric's really into them. They're all about Merkberg. Boom successful. Thrawn series. Yeah, I don't know if the Thrawn series, Dark Force Rising, I think is what that was called. It was a book, Star Wars book, back in the day. Grand Admiral Thrawn. That'd be cool if they turned that into a series, but I don't know if they are because I thought they obliterated all the old Star Wars stuff. Yes, Thrawn was in that Rebels show. I heard that. But it would be cool if they didn't obliterate all the that alternative universe stuff and they actually brought Thrawn or something like that into this Star Wars. But I kind of feel like they want to do all this stuff on their own. Heal, you're new. I started looking at Warhammer stuff yesterday. You guys are up to some next level drama. I have no clue what Warhammer For Everyone is, but it sounds pretty straightforward. It's in the name. Yeah, if you want to know more about the Warhammer For Everyone thing, it's like a message that Games Workshop posted on Twitter and Facebook. I feel like I almost played a Star Wars RPG. Yeah, Warhammer For Everyone, it's just like Games Workshop basically said, no racists in Warhammer. And everyone's like, cool, we agree, no racists. And then this group of people were like, this is personally attacking me. And it's like, wait, are you saying you're a racist, bro? And they're like, if Warhammer's for everyone, you should tolerate everyone's viewpoints, no matter what, like, their ideology, and this is political and stuff. It's like, no, but bro, we said no racist. So if you're saying this is attacking you, are you telling us you're a racist, bro? And they're like, this is attacking me, this is political. It's like, bro, no racists. It's pretty easy. Yeah, Heal, it's cool. Everyone assumes that Warhammer's for everyone, and that's kind of like the defense that these dudes are bringing up. They're like, I assumed Warhammer's for everyone. You don't have to say it. But it's easy to say that if you're someone who's never had the experience of feeling excluded from the Warhammer community. Like, I don't know what people are like where you are and the Warhammer stuff that you do. You said you're just looking up this Warhammer stuff, so I don't know if you do Warhammer stuff. But where I am, there's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of dudes who play Warhammer, and it's a lot of white dudes. And I don't know what your white dudes are like, but my white dudes, they make a lot of inappropriate jokes that are not very welcoming to folks who may be the butt of those jokes, whether advertently or inadvertently. So the Warhammer For Everyone push, the way that I took it, and the way I'm going to continue to take it, is that it's an attempt to make it clear that some people are not feeling included in the Warhammer community, and we need to do better about including these people. So that's what I take it as. And if you already felt welcome to the Warhammer community, that's great. And you just got to give some thought to how you can make other people feel more welcome. Civil respect. Hey, Jason. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, Jacob makes a good point that after the message released, a lot of people came out with their stories about how they were excluded, and they felt not included in the community. So it's definitely happening out there, even if you haven't seen it where you are. It's definitely a thing. Oh, what? That's interesting. Too soon, Regger. Too soon, Tomb Kings. You got OCR Bone Lords. You should be happy. There are your Tomb Kings. There's your Tomb Kings right there. Beautiful, huge line. Betronians. Hey, man, that's what Sigmar is, right? Just put some horses on them. I don't know. I love Age of Sigmar. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I don't play Age of Sigmar. I love Age of Sigmar's IP. I think it's super interesting. It's super different. Not super different, like it's based on fantasy tropes, but I really like what they did with it and like the cool new things they came up with. And I never got into Warhammer Fantasy because I wanted, like, I didn't want to just play Lord of the Rings. I wanted to play something different. And I definitely didn't want to play, like, medieval fantasy. Like, oh, let's just get some knights. So Petronian never really spoke to me. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask about that. And Tomb Kings is just like, hey, let's rip off some Egyptians. Like, that's cool. I get it. But I don't know. I like that with Age of Sigmar, they're going in new, different directions with kind of custom stuff that other people aren't necessarily doing. Okay, I feel like this is like degenerating into random chat and not sculpting, so I should probably call this. Done for today. There's a leg. Gonna put some hooves on it. I'm a little pissed off about the weird angle that I put it on, but hopefully it doesn't ruin the model. God. I'll try and get this camera thing fixed for next time. But thank you all for joining this stream. I'm going to be shutting it down now. Thank you for the spirited discussion. Thanks, Plitek. I do like that it's big and thick. That's what I was going for. Big and thick stompy leg. To fit its big and thick stompy foot. Got to sculpt some hoof stuff on here next. And get going on these other limbs. Do this one too. We got to solve that problem next. But anyway, thanks for joining. I'll try and do another stream maybe on Sunday. If not, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do one next week because might be traveling. But yeah, keep an eye out. I'll try and post on YouTube, I guess is the best way to tell people. I don't know if people check like the community section of this YouTube channel. I don't really know how it gets disseminated. Heal. Sorry, I missed part of what you said. My phone died. That's fine, man. It's all going to be saved. Star Wars. If you need help with stream and the weirs are busy, hit me up. Okay, thanks, Jacob. I will hit you up if I need help with streaming. Thanks, Hutch. Good night. Thanks for joining. Heal, you want to hear what I said? It's all going to be saved. I'm posting this as a video after it processes for like 18 hours on YouTube. So yeah, it'll be up. And you can see the earlier stuff. And you can hear me rant about Warhammer For Everyone, or talk about it, or whatever you want to call it. But thank you for the spirited discussion. Hope you're all working on some fun stuff. Maybe got you inspired, and we'll do some more sculpting another time. Adios, amigos. Bye.